All right, I haven't mentioned anything about this. There's this, maybe you've heard about this cat fight between two males, Dylan Mulvaney and Caitlyn Jenner. A little background on this. Mulvaney did, and I'm not even going to play it for you because even I have my limits for the grotesque things that I'll subject you to. But he did one of his grotesque, ridiculous Days of Girlhood videos where he talked about going to the store in tight pants and having a bulge, because he has a penis because he's a man. He wants to be a woman, but his penis was visible through his shorts. And this is what he was doing a video about this. And he said that this is why we have to normalize the bulge for women. That was his, that's his, campaign slogan. That's the banner that he's marching under. Now, Jenner responded to this by saying, let's not normalize any of what this person is doing. This is absurdity. And then in a follow-up, he said, he's talking about his penis, which, pointing to the obvious there. Thanks for that, Jenner. Now, this led to lots of outrage on the left and, because Jenner is calling it absurd, but also because Jenner, quote, misgendered Dylan Mulvaney, referred to him as a guy. And Mulvaney responded to that. We'll play a little bit of this. This one's a little bit safer. I don't think you start talking about his bulge here, but you never know with this guy. So let's watch a little bit of this.
Days of transitioning, and remember being embarrassed about your body or having strangers give you dirty looks. That's why I made that video, because I was embarrassed and I wanted to reclaim my body in a positive way. And now you've taken that and you've turned it into something really ugly. And I didn't start Days of Girlhood because being a woman sounded fun. I started this series because of the unspoken shame of being newly trans. I still have so much to learn. And we come from very different generations, and you're so much farther along in your journey than I am. But I have cheered you on from the second you came out, truly. And I'm so happy that you've had the surgeries that you've desired. But I'm 25 years old, and I am on day 233. I can't even get bottom surgery right now if I wanted to. I haven't been on hormones long enough. And this whole situation makes me not want to share my surgical plans because there are so many trans women who don't have access to it, or they don't want it, and it doesn't make them any less of a woman. Funny enough, one of the only things that we do have in common is that I'm going to one of your surgeons. I'm not as far along as you. Please be patient. And, now that I think about it, I don't even think I have interest in getting to know you because the way you use your platform to publicly degrade me, it told me everything I needed to know about you. And a trans person invalidating another trans person's transness is pretty evil in my eyes. Like, the call is coming from inside the house. It's coming off very selfish. Is no one else allowed to be trans? I, for one, am excited to welcome anyone into our community because I know how isolating it can be. In this whole situation, it feels like the movie Mean Girls. Halloween is right around the corner, so there's a costume idea for us, I guess. I don't know, I digress. But you've been accepted by a group of people that clearly does not accept me.
All right, shut
and
up,
nearly
Dylan.
every day.
Yeah, it's very isolating. It's very isolating for Dylan Mulvaney to be a girl, supposedly, for 45 seconds and to be greeted with, adulation and applause and corporate sponsorships and brand deals and invited to speak at women's summits. It feels very isolating and alone. No, it'd be isolating alone to be an actual woman, maybe. I could see that as being isolated, making you feel isolated and lonely when you're an actual woman and you've been living as one because you are one your entire life. And then this guy comes along and just jumps to the front of every single line. The left is losing their faith, but we are not. And a core part of that faith is prayer. I talk a lot about stressful things all day, and you might feel a little bit overwhelmed. I know that I do sometimes with where the country is going, but I've got good news. Hallow can help you find some peace and hope rooted not in the government or its institutions, but in God. Hallow has over 5,000 audio-guided prayers, meditations, peaceful Christian music, including the Rosary with Bishop Barron and Mark Wahlberg, the Bible in a Year with Father Mike Schmitz, minute meditations for brief moments of peace away from the liberal media, and much more. Hallow helps you build a daily routine and a habit of prayer. It helps me to pray, meditate, and sleep better. It's a huge part of my daily routine. So you can get an exclusive 3-month trial of Hallow at hallow.com. hallow.com/Matt Walsh. That's hallow.com/Matt Walsh. Well, yesterday, Jenner responded by apologizing for misgendering Mulvaney. He tweeted, "An individual on Miss Jenner's team haphazardly misgendered Dylan in the tweet. He is talking about his penis. For this, we deeply regret the comment and have taken the appropriate actions to rectify the situation internally. Miss Jenner has no further comment on the matter and stands by her statements otherwise." Right, someone on his team. Well, he is on his own team, so I guess that's accurate. You see, once again, this is why Caitlyn Jenner never should have been embraced by conservatives, because that's the real story here. And I've seen some conservatives respond as defending Jenner. He deserves no defense. Really, this is a story about the moron conservatives, the idiots who embrace this guy, and they just look dumber and dumber every single day. Never should have been embraced by conservatives. He is not a good advocate on this issue or on any issue, but especially on this one. Okay, to use the leftist terminology, he is not an ally. So these idiot conservatives think, well, if we have a trans person come in and criticize the trans agenda, well, that's the trump card right there. That's the ace up our sleeves. No, that's the last person who can criticize the trans agenda, is someone who's actively promoting it. You know what it's like? It's like if you want to do a news segment, if you want to do a television segment about the problems of drunk driving, and so you have someone come on the air who is currently drunk and drove to the studio, and you have him come on to talk about the dangers of drunk driving. That is the worst advocate, or that's the worst person to talk about this issue. Especially if he's talking about it by, you have this drunk bastard coming on, criticizing other drunk people. Okay, this is not someone you want to have. If you want someone to come on TV and extol the virtues of moderation, it shouldn't be an actively drunk person. Now, you want to bring someone on who is a recovering alcoholic, used to be an alcoholic, has gotten past it and is recovering and can talk about, retrospectively talk about what it was like to be an alcoholic, as someone who experienced it and got past it. That's different. Just like if you want to talk about, you want to talk about the transgender agenda, yeah, and bring on a detrans person, someone who was in that life and managed to get out of it and can talk about it again retrospectively. Well, that's a great advocate, but not someone who is actively in it right now and promoting it, which Jenner is. Refers to himself in the tweet as Miss Jenner. Because you know what? You're putting the other side in a position where they're right. What Dylan Mulvaney said there, most of that is basically right. From Caitlyn Jenner's perspective, he's right about that. Because basically what he's saying is, wait a second, if you get to be a woman, why can't I? Where do you come off calling me a he, and yet you expect us to call you she? How does that work? He's actually right about that. That's what a brilliant advocate Caitlyn Jenner is. He puts us in a position where he gets into an argument with a guy like Dylan Mulvaney, and Dylan Mulvaney is right. He gives this, be careful the words I use. He gives this individual the opportunity to be right about something. That's how terrible Caitlyn Jenner is. That's not going to stop. Yeah, he's a Fox News contributor. It's going to stop Fox from bringing him on. The worst possible person. I know you're craving some more Matt Walsh Show content. Well, I have some great news for you. If you head over to dailywire.com and subscribe now, you can watch or listen to my full show. You can also listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'll see you there.